Don't just save money, make your money grow. That was the first lesson the grandfather wanted to pass on through the story of his own life. When he was young, he was the kind of man who would sit dreaming under a tree, talking about plans to get rich without ever taking action. He always believed that one day his life would change, but that day never came. And it was that very habit of delay that slowly pushed his family into hardship, leaving them struggling, deprived, and stripped of hope. Because he only knew how to dream and never take action, his family's life grew more and more difficult. His wife quietly carried the weight of the household, cooking, washing clothes, and taking care of the children and grandchildren, while each daily meal became smaller and smaller. As time passed, their money was nearly gone, and there was barely any food left. The most heartbreaking moment came one night when his skinny, exhausted little grandchild softly asked if there was any bread left in the house. That innocent question pierced his heart and, for the first time, made him truly see the consequences of his delay. If you have been hesitating in life, start making a change today. After that life-changing night, he began to change through real action. Early the next morning, he left home at dawn to look for farm work. Under the scorching sun and on the dry, barren land, he worked for hours without rest, carrying heavy tools, bending over in labor until his hands grew rough and calloused, and his body was completely exhausted. Each evening, he came home with only a very small amount of money. But for the first time in his life, he felt that he was doing something meaningful for his family. Even though that little money could not change their lives right away, it gave him a new beginning. After working hard for some time, he often heard people say that if you want a more secure life, you need to learn how to save. From then on, he began setting aside every small coin he earned each day and dropping it into an old glass jar. Even though the money he made was barely enough, he still tried to deny himself food, clothes, and any personal comfort. At that time, the jar was not just a place to keep his money, but also a place where he stored his hope for a less difficult future for the whole family. The day he brought his jar of savings to the market, he was shocked to discover a harsh truth. He had believed that the money would be enough to buy 3 sacks of corn for his family, but the seller shook his head and said prices had gone up, so that amount could only buy 1.5 sacks. He stood there in silence, feeling as though all those months of careful saving had suddenly shrunk in the face of real life. In that moment, he understood that simply holding on to money was not enough to change his fate. If you have learned something from this too, keep listening to the story. After realizing that simply storing money would never change his life, he began to think differently. One afternoon, as he sat quietly in front of the house, watching his neighbors bring home eggs and milk, a small but hopeful idea suddenly came to him. He turned to his grandchild and said, "What if we buy some chickens?" This time, he was no longer waiting for some distant day to come. He decided to act right away. He took the money he had saved for so long and bought a few skinny chickens, starting a new path from that very small beginning. From just a few skinny chickens bought with the money he had carefully saved over so long, his family's life began to change in a quiet yet unmistakable way. At first, they collected only 1 or 2 eggs a day. He kept some so the family would have something to eat, and sold the rest for a little money. Whenever he earned even a small amount more, he carefully used it to buy more chickens and gradually grow the flock. Day by day, the number of chickens increased, the eggs became more plentiful, and the money he earned started to become steadier than before. He even kept careful records of every egg sold and every small profit he made. Before long, neighbors began coming to buy eggs, and the poor house that had once been filled with hardship slowly began to fill with laughter and hope. Looking at an egg in his hand, he came to understand a profound lesson. A single egg was more valuable than a jar of money kept hidden away, because money can lose its value. But when used wisely, it can multiply like life itself and open the door to a better future. Through his own journey, he came to understand one of life's greatest lessons. Money only truly matters when it is used wisely to create new value. If it is merely kept aside, it can gradually lose its worth and do nothing to change your life. But when you learn to invest it, even in something as small as a few chickens, money can begin to grow. At that point, money is no longer just something to hold on to. It becomes a tool that helps people build a better future. The story ends with a simple yet profound message. Don't just hold on to money, learn how to make it grow. Even if you start with only a very small amount of capital, life can still change little by little if you invest wisely and keep taking action. Comment 1 if you enjoyed the story and want to encourage me to make the next video.